Alien overlords fall, humanity's ultimate triumph. A low, resonant rumble shook the concrete ruins of what was once a mighty metropolis, a city that had been reduced to rubble under the oppressive boot of alien tyranny. In the twilight of a scarred earth, where the skies burned with the fires of a million battles, a spark of defiance was kindled in the hearts of the survivors. For decades, humanity had cowered beneath the iron-fisted rule of the alien overlords, creatures of immense power and unyielding arrogance who had subjugated the people of Earth with advanced weaponry and ruthless discipline. Yet, even as the alien regimes imposed their will and enforced a brutal order, whispers of rebellion grew louder in the dark alleys and hidden bunkers. Amid the chaos and despair, a clandestine network of fighters had emerged, men and women who refused to surrender, who dared to believe that the fall of these oppressive masters was not only possible but inevitable. In the labyrinthine corridors of an underground resistance stronghold, Commander Adrian Reyes, scarred by both battle and loss, with eyes that burned with unquenchable determination, gathered his closest allies. Around him, a motley band of warriors, engineers, and scholars listened intently as he outlined the audacious plan that had been months in the making. "For too long we have lived in fear," he declared in a voice that trembled with both fury and hope. "They may have taken our cities, our freedom, our future, but they have not taken our spirit. Tonight, we strike at the heart of their dominion. We will liberate our people and show the universe that humanity is not so easily broken." His words, charged with an energy that electrified the room, ignited a fire in every soul present. In that moment, the underground became a crucible of resolve, as each fighter silently vowed to reclaim what was rightfully theirs. Above ground, the alien overlords, monolithic beings adorned in armor forged from technology beyond human comprehension, sat imperiously in their glass towers that pierced the toxic skies. Their eyes, glowed with otherworldly luminescence, overlooked a world of misery and submission. Unaware that a storm was gathering in the deepest shadows of the human resistance, they continued their daily rituals of control, administering punishments and decreeing laws with cold efficiency. But the seeds of rebellion had been sown, and even the most decadent of tyrants could not forestall the reckoning that was to come. Under the cover of night, as a crescent moon struggled to shine through smog and despair, Commander Reyes and his elite strike team emerged from the underground, clad in scavenged armor patched together with bits of old-world technology and new ingenuity. They moved silently through the ruined streets. Every step was measured, every breath a prayer for the lives of those they fought to save. Among them was Lieutenant Saren Gwyn, a sharpshooter with an uncanny ability to find hope in hopelessness, whose steady hands and piercing gaze had saved her comrades more times than she could count. "Keep your eyes open," she murmured as they advanced, her voice barely above a whisper. "The enemy has eyes everywhere." With each cautious step, the group navigated the skeletal remains of a once great civilization, their minds alight with memories of a world that had been. The laughter of children in sunlit parks, the vibrant chatter of markets, the gentle embrace of loved ones, and the crushing weight of its loss. Their objective lay in the center of the alien citadel, a massive fortress constructed of an alloy that shimmered with an eerie iridescence under the pale moonlight. It was there that the alien overlords concentrated their power, their command center and nerve hub, for which they directed the subjugation of Earth. According to intercepted transmissions and smuggled schematics, this citadel was not only the seat of their authority, but also a repository of technology that, if captured, could turn the tide of the war. "We hit them hard and fast," Reyes instructed, his voice a low growl that resonated with the promise of retribution. "We breached the citadel, disabled their communications, and seized control of their central command. In doing so, we cripple their ability to coordinate, and we give our people a chance to rise." The plan was audacious, fraught with risks and uncertainties, but the prospect of liberation lent an urgency that could not be denied. As the rebel forces neared the perimeter of the citadel, tension mounted in palpable waves. Shadows danced along broken walls. Distant sirens and alarms blended with the whisper of the wind. In one shattered square, a young recruit named Malik, a boy barely out his teens, whose eyes still held a fragile innocence, huddled with a group of frightened civilians. He had lost his family in the initial onslaught, and now, armed with nothing but a salvaged energy rifle and an unyielding determination, He had taken upon himself to protect those who could not defend themselves. Malik's hands trembled as he scanned the horizon, each distant light a potential harbinger of doom or deliverance. "Hold on," he whispered to a crying woman cradling a sleeping child, his voice steady despite the fear that threatened to overwhelm him. "We're coming for you. We will not let them keep us captive." In that promise lay the spark of ultimate triumph, a belief that no matter how deep the night, the dawn would one day break. Inside the Citadel's outer defenses, alien sentries patrolled with mechanical precision. Their movements were fluid and relentless, their sensor rays scanning for any sign of human intrusion. But the rebel forces had come prepared, utilizing hacked alien communications and stealth technology repurposed from scavenged enemy devices. Reyes' team bypassed patrols with silent efficiency, slipping through gaps in the outer perimeter like ghosts in a nightmare. Lieutenant Nguyen's keen eyes detected a lone guard as he rounded a corner, and with a swift, practiced motion, she dispatched him with a single, precise shot that left his body crumpled silently on the cold stone floor. The quiet ruthlessness of her action was a stark reminder that every life sacrificed was a brick in the foundation of humanity's resurgence. Within the labyrinthine corridors of the Citadel, the rebels encountered unexpected resistance. Alien commanders clad in biomechanical armor, whose very presence exuded a cold, calculated menace. The corridors pulsed with an eerie ambient light that seemed to animate the ancient walls, casting long, distorted shadows that writhed like living nightmares. Reyes signaled for his team to split into smaller units, each tasked with disabling key control nodes scattered throughout the facility. In the chaos of close-quarters combat, the rebels fought with the desperate ferocity of those who had nothing left to lose. Explosions rocked the corridors, shattering the eerie calm as energy blasts and plasma bolts illuminated the darkness in violent bursts. Amid the clamor, Reyes found himself face-to-face with an alien overlord, a towering figure with a gaunt, angular face, eyes that burned with merciless fire, and limbs that ended in razor-sharp appendages. The overlord sneered, its voice a distorted cacophony that sent chills down Rhea's spine. "You dare challenge the supremacy of our kind?" it bellowed, the sound reverberating off the stone walls. "Your kind is weak, fragile, ephemeral, doomed to perish in the annals of history." But Reyes, fueled by the memory of every life lost and every hope betrayed, lunged forward with a cry of defiance. The clash was titanic, a battle of raw physical power against sheer will. Sparks flew, metal clashed, and in a desperate flurry of strikes and parries, the aliens' defenses began to falter. With one final, decisive blow, Reyes drove his makeshift blade into the Overlord's core, the creature's scream echoing like a dying wind as it crumpled the ground in a heap of lifeless metal. In that moment, as the echoes of battle subsided into a heavy silence, the tide of war shifted imperceptibly toward humanity. Outside, the uprising was reaching its zenith. Across cities and towns that had lain silent under the yoke of oppression, rebels rose as one to cast off the chains of subjugation. The alien overlords, whose arrogance had once blinded them to the indomitable spirit of their human subjects, found themselves facing an enemy that was united, resourceful, and driven by the fierce desire for freedom. Amid the debris of ruined metropolises, ragtag bands of fighters organized coordinated strikes, raids on alien supply convoys, sabotage of communication relays, and daring rescues of prisoners who had long languished in alien detention centers. The once mighty machines of oppression began to falter under the relentless assault of human ingenuity and courage. Deep within the rebel command center, hidden in a repurposed underground facility, Commander Reyes convened a war council with representatives from every surviving region. Maps were spread across scarred tables, holographic projections of alien fortresses, and rebel positions intermingled in a chaotic dance of light and strategy. "Our victory today at the Citadel is a sign," Reyes declared, his voice resonating with both exhaustion and fierce hope. "It is the beginning of the end for the alien overlords. Every fallen tyrant, every liberated soul, is a step toward a future where humanity can thrive once more. But we must remain vigilant. Our enemy is resourceful, and they will fight to the bitter end to maintain their dominion." His words, though tempered by the harsh realities of war, were infused with a promise that echoed across the gathered faces, a promise that the ultimate triumph of humanity was within reach. As the battle line shifted and the alien command centers fell one by one, the rebels seized the momentum to launch a final, coordinated assault on the central citadel. The skies above roared with the sound of human warships and ground vehicles mobilizing in unison, a symphony of defiance against a backdrop of despair. In one decisive operation, a fleet of commandeered alien cruisers, retrofitted with human technology and piloted by veterans who had once cowered in fear, descended upon the central command tower. Laser fire illuminated the night as Allied forces clashed with the remaining alien defenders in a spectacular melee that wove together strategy, sacrifice, and raw, unfiltered courage. Amid the chaos of that epic confrontation, human fighters pressed forward, their eyes fixed on the beacon of freedom that shone in the heart of the enemy's citadel. In a moment that would be remembered for generations, Lieutenant Nguyen led a squad to the thick of the firefight, her determination unyielding as she secured the control room of the central tower. There, amidst a tangle of alien circuitry and pulsating power cores, she connected a salvaged human terminal to the mainframe. With trembling fingers and a heart that pounded with both fear and hope, she initiated a shutdown sequence that sent ripples of disruption to the alien network. One by one, the power grids flickered and died, leaving the tyrannical overlords disoriented and their command structure in shambles. The sudden collapse of the alien control system was a turning point, a moment when the final vestiges of oppression began to crumble under the weight of human resilience. Across the liberated sectors of Earth, celebrations erupted as the news spread. The Overlords had fallen, their reign ended by the collective will of a people who had refused to be broken. In the midst of jubilant cries and tearful embraces, Commander Reyes stood alone on a hill overlooking a reclaimed city. The ruins of alien towers smoldered in the distance, but on the horizon, a new dawn was breaking, a dawn that heralded the resurgence of humanity. Yet, even as victory seemed assured, Reyes's thoughts turned to the future. The struggle had been long and bitter, and the scars of oppression would not vanish overnight. "Our triumph is not the end," he murmured quietly, gazing at the emerging sunrise. "It is the beginning of a long road to healing, to rebuilding a society that honors every sacrifice, every loss, and every victory. We must learn from our past to forge a future where freedom and justice are the birthright of every human being." His words, carried away by the gentle morning breeze, were a solemn promise to those who had fought and died for the cause, a promise that the ultimate triumph of humanity would be measured not solely in the fall of the Overlords, but in the enduring strength of the human spirit. In the days that followed, as survivors emerged from their hiding places and the world began the slow process of reconstruction, a sense of cautious optimism permeated the air. The alien overlords had fallen, but the work of reclaiming and rebuilding had only just begun. Across devastated cities and barren wastelands, communities formed, united by the shared memory of tyranny and the collective dream of a better tomorrow. In the corridors of new government halls and the hushed meetings of grassroots councils, debates raged about how best to honor the past while ensuring that history would not repeat its darkest chapters. Technology salvaged from the remnant of alien rule was repurposed to build schools, hospitals, and centers of learning, a testament to the belief that knowledge was the true weapon of liberation. Amid this renaissance, figures emerged who would shape the future of a reborn humanity. Young leaders, inspired by the bravery of the rebellion, stepped forward to advocate for policies that balance progress with the wisdom of experience. Old veterans like Commander Reyes and Lieutenant Nguyen became mentors, their stories etched into the collective consciousness as living reminders of the cost of freedom. And though the wounds of the past were deep, the promise of a united, resilient people shone like a beacon in every smile, every shared moment of hope. Yet, as the embers of revolution cooled and the first tentative steps toward rebuilding were taken, whispers of uncertainty began to circulate. There were those who feared that remnants of the alien regime might still lurk in hidden corners of the universe, plotting a resurgence from the shadows. Others worried that the human hunger for power could sow the seeds of a new tyranny, even in a world freed from external oppressors. In hushed conversations around flickering campfires and the quiet solitude of newly rebuilt libraries, the question lingered: would humanity, now that it had overcome the alien overlords, be able to conquer its own demons and create a truly just society? For now, the future remained a vast, uncharted expanse, one that held both promise and peril in equal measure. As the sun rose higher in the sky, clear of the dark smog of oppression, the people of Earth stepped forward into a new era with cautious hope. The trials of the past had forged an unbreakable bond among them, and their triumph over tyranny was a testament to the enduring power of unity. The memory of the alien Overlord's fall and the fierce struggle that had made it possible would forever be etched into the annals of history, a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming darkness, the light of the human spirit could shine with a brilliance that no force could ever extinguish. In the soft light of that new dawn, Commander Reyes stood once more in the scarred but resilient battlements of a reclaimed city, his gaze fixed on the horizon where possibility met promise. "Our journey is not over," he whispered, his voice both a benediction and a challenge to the future. "The true triumph lies not in the fall of our oppressors, but in the endless pursuit of a better world, a world where every human life is cherished and where our legacy is one of hope, compassion, and strength." And as the people of Earth gathered around him, united in their shared destiny, the legacy of the struggle lived on in every whispered promise and every bold step into the unknown. In the echo of ancient ruins and the vibrant hum of reborn cities, humanity marched onward, a people reborn from the ashes of oppression, determined to carve a future defined not by the tyranny of the past, but by the endless potential of a united spirit. Their story, still unfolding beneath the vast canopy of stars, was a living testament to the fact that no overlord, no matter how powerful, could ever truly extinguish the flame of freedom. The universe, with all its infinite mysteries and challenges, now lay before them, a canvas upon which the next chapter of their destiny would be written, one bold stroke at a time. Alien Overlord's fall, humanity's ultimate triumph. The dawn that followed the cataclysmic assault on the Citadel was no gentle sunrise. It was a blaze of fire and rebirth that swept over a scarred Earth like a cleansing inferno. In the cold light of morning, as remnants of alien war machines lay scattered across ruined boulevards and shattered towers, humanity began to stir from its long, anguished slumber. Underground resistance cells that had once been mere whispers in the darkness now roared with the fierce determination of a people unwilling to yield. The battle for liberation had been won that fateful night, but the struggle for a new future was only just beginning. Deep within the Rebel Command Center, hidden beneath the rubble of what used to be the metropolis of New Avalon, Commander Adrian Reyes and his trusted lieutenants pored over salvage intelligence. Maps and schematics, painstakingly reconstructed from smuggled alien data and fragmented human archives, now lay spread across a scarred table. Reyes' eyes, still burning with the memory of every fallen comrade and every moment of defiant resistance, scanned the lines of the diagram. "The Citadel was only one node in their oppressive network," he murmured, voice low and steady. "We've shattered the heart of their command. But the alien overlords had bases scattered across the globe and even beyond it. Our victory must now be transformed into a campaign to liberate every occupied city, every enslaved soul." His words, like a rallying cry, sparked renewed purpose in the room. Around him, a diverse assembly of warriors, engineers, and scholars nodded in grim determination, each knowing that the liberation of Earth was only the first step toward reclaiming humanity's ultimate triumph. Above ground, the atmosphere was a swirling maelstrom of chaos and cautious hope. In cities once subdued by alien might, small bands of rebels had emerged from the shadows. They gathered in secret, in basements and abandoned factories, armed with relics of old technology repurposed to serve a new cause. Among them was Lieutenant Saren Gwyn, whose skill as a sharpshooter and her unyielding moral compass had earned her the respect of fighters across the liberated sectors. As she moved silently along ruined streets, her every step was measured and deliberate. In her heart, she carried the memories of a childhood filled with laughter and sunlit days, images of the alien oppressors had long since attempted to erase. "For every life stolen, for every dream denied," she whispered under her breath, "we reclaim our humanity with every bullet we fire and every chain we shatter." In the wake of the Citadel's fall, the human resistance began a counteroffensive that spread like wildfire. Rebel forces launched coordinated strikes against alien outposts in once great capitals. Skirmishes erupted in the ruins of old London, beneath the shattered arches of what had once been a proud monument to human achievement. In the sweltering heat of the desert near what remained of Cairo, guerrilla units ambushed patrols of alien enforcers with precision and passion. Every liberated stronghold became a symbol, a spark that ignited hope in hearts long accustomed to despair. One such liberated outpost was the fortress of Iron Haven, a once impregnable alien garrison repurposed by human engineers into a bastion of freedom. Inside its stone walls, Commander Reyes convened a war council with representatives from every liberated region. The room was lit by flickering oil lamps and the gentle hum of jury-rigged generators, their combined light reflecting off the scarred faces of leaders who had seen too much suffering to ever again bow in submission. Our victory over the Citadel is proof that the alien overlords are not invincible, Reyes declared, his voice echoing with the weight of history. But we must remember, their tyranny was built on division and isolation. We now have the opportunity to unite as never before, to pool our resources and our strengths so that no enemy, no matter how powerful, can ever again subjugate us. His impassioned speech stirred the room. Eyes once filled with fear now burned with the fire of rebellion. In that moment, the assembled warriors and strategists resolved to create a united front, a federation of liberated peoples that would stand as a bulwark against any future threat. Meanwhile, far beyond the borders of Earth, the remnants of the alien empire reeled from the shock of their sudden downfall. In the towering, crystalline spires of their interstellar command ships, alien generals and overlords convened in urgent council. Their voices, hissing with disbelief and indignation, attempted to rationalize the inexplicable collapse of their dominion. How could these primitive beings, these humans, overcome our most advanced war machines? One such commander demanded, his eyes narrowing as he beheld images of human fighters liberating city after city. In the tense atmosphere of their opulent war rooms, the aliens began to debate their next course of action. Some advocated for a total retreat, a regrouping of forces in the deep void of space. Others, hardened by centuries of subjugation, insisted on launching an all-out counteroffensive to reclaim what they believed was rightfully theirs. But for now, the shock of defeat had sown seeds of confusion and discord among the alien hierarchy, a weakness that the human resistance was determined to exploit. Back on Earth, as rebel forces tightened their grip on liberated territories, a new challenge emerged from within. The liberation had brought with it a flood of displaced survivors, civilians who had long lived under the suffocating rule of alien overlords. These people, scarred by years of oppression, now found themselves thrust into positions of power and responsibility, their hearts heavy with the burden of rebuilding a shattered society. In the crowded halls of provisional government centers, fierce debates erupted over how to allocate scarce resources, how to honor the sacrifices of the fallen, and how to ensure that the horrors of the past would never be repeated. In one such gathering in a reclaimed town hall in what was once Paris, a charismatic former teacher named Isabelle Lauron rose to address the anxious crowd. "We stand at the crossroads of destiny," she proclaimed, her voice resonating with both empathy and resolve. "Our liberation is not the end of our struggle. It is the beginning of a new era. We must build a future not defined by the scars of our past, but by the promise of unity, justice, and hope." Her words, met with a mixture of fervent applause and tearful nods, became the rallying cry for a movement dedicated not only to resisting tyranny, but to healing the deep wounds inflicted by years of subjugation. As the weeks turned into months, the human resistance transformed from a ragtag band of rebels into a cohesive force capable of waging coordinated campaigns. Under the unified leadership of Commander Reyes and the newly formed Council of Liberated Nations, the former enemies began to forge alliances across regions that had once been separated by walls, borders, and bitter histories. Technical experts and engineers worked side by side with veterans and fighters to convert alien technology for human use. The remains of alien warships were dismantled and repurposed, their advanced propulsion systems and energy cores becoming the building blocks of a new, sustainable fleet. In laboratories set up in the ruins of old cities, scientists raced to reverse engineer the secrets of alien energy and communication, determined to ensure that humanity would never again be at the mercy of a tyrant from beyond the stars. Yet, for all the progress and hope, the scars of war were deep and unyielding. In the quiet moments before dawn, when the world was bathed in the soft light of remembrance, survivors gathered to share stories of loss and triumph. In a small community on the outskirts of the liberated territory formerly known as New Avalon, an elderly man named Samuel recounted the memory of his daughter, who had perished during the early days of alien occupation. She was a light that never dimmed, he whispered, voice thick with emotion. Even as the darkness closed in, she believed that we would rise again. And today, I see that light rekindled in the eyes of every man, woman, and child who dares to dream of freedom. His words, heavy with sorrow yet suffused with hope, touched the hearts of all who listened, reminding them that every sacrifice had been made in the service of a future defined by resilience and unity. In the midst of rebuilding, Commander Reyes received intelligence that would once again alter the course of the struggle. Deep in the remnants of a once mighty alien orbital station, hidden in the vast emptiness of the upper atmosphere, sensors had detected an anomalous energy surge. Preliminary analysis suggested that the surge might be the result of a secret alien research facility, a facility that had been shielded from human eyes until now. If the intelligence proved correct, it could mean that the alien empire, though weakened and fragmented, was not entirely vanquished. The revelation sparked a firestorm of debate among the leadership. Some argued for a full-scale assault on the hidden facility, believing that the destruction of any remaining alien research would cripple the remnants of their oppressive technology. Others, more cautious and steeped in the lessons of recent victories, urged for a covert operation to infiltrate the facility and gather intelligence before committing to an all-out assault. "We cannot afford to underestimate our enemy," Reyes cautioned in a war council meeting held in a fortified bunker. "Even in defeat, the alien mind is cunning. We must proceed with both boldness and caution, for the stakes are nothing less than the future of our civilization." After hours of intense deliberation, a plan was set in motion. A small elite unit, led by Lieutenant Serenguin, would be dispatched to infiltrate the orbital station under cover of darkness. Their objective was to secure any remaining alien research data and, if possible, disable the facility's power core, a task that would require not only precision and skill, but also an unyielding courage born of desperation. Lieutenant Nguyen's team prepared for the mission with a somber focus. In a secluded hangar beneath the Rebel Command Center, she checked her equipment and reviewed the covert operations details with her team. "This mission is critical," she told them, her tone resolute yet tinged with the weight of responsibility. "The data we retrieve could be the key to understanding how our enemy still operates and how we can finally put an end to their lingering tyranny. We move as one, and we bring the light of freedom into every dark corner they hide in." With her words echoing in their minds, the team boarded a stealth-modified shuttlecraft and ascended into the night sky. As they soared above the remnant of Earth's once proud orbit, the shuttle sensors began to pick up faint, rhythmic pulses, a sign that the alien facility was indeed active. The craft glided silently through the void, its progress marked only by the steady hum of its engines and the determined focus of its crew. Hours passed in tense silence as the shuttle approached the orbital station, a massive construct that loomed like a ghostly fortress against a starry backdrop. The station's exterior was a patchwork of alien technology and corroded metal, its once gleaming surfaces now marred by the ravages of time and conflict. In the cockpit, Lieutenant Nguyen's eyes narrowed as she guided the craft into a narrow gap between debris and remnants of defunct satellites. "We're in position," she whispered into the comms. "Stay alert and remember, our success here means freedom for countless souls back on the ground." The team dispersed into stealthy pods, each one slipping silently along the station's outer hull. They moved with the precision of predators, each step calculated, every breath measured, until they reached an access hatch that would lead them inside the enemy facility. Inside, the corridors of the orbital station were a labyrinth of sterile metal and pulsating lights. The air was thick with the hum of machinery and the faint echo of alien communications, a constant reminder that this was a place where power still pulsed in defiance of human victory. Nguyen's team advanced cautiously, using every bit of training and stealth they had honed over years of resistance. Their objective was clear: locate the central research hub and secure any data that could reveal the secrets of the aliens' lingering technology. The corridors led them deeper into the heart of the station, where they encountered guard control rooms and chambers filled with mysterious devices that flickered with strange, otherworldly energy. In one such chamber, Lieutenant Nguyen came face to face with a formidable barrier, a reinforced door inscribed with alien symbols that glowed faintly in the dim light. With practiced precision, she set to work on bypassing the security system, her fingers flying over a compact terminal. Seconds stretched into minutes as code after code flashed on the screen, each one a puzzle to be solved. Finally, with a soft beep and a flash of green light, the door slid open to reveal a vast research hub. The room was filled with holographic displays, alien data cores, and control panels that pulsed with an eerie blue light. At the center of the hub stood a massive console, its screen displaying streams of incomprehensible data interwoven with cryptic symbols. Gwen signaled to her team, "This is it. Secure the data cores and disable the power grid. We have only minutes before the station's defenses are alerted." The team moved swiftly, connecting portable drives to the data cores and extracting files that seemed to contain centuries of secret research. With each file successfully copied, the weight of the mission pressed down on them. The knowledge that this information could tip the balance in the final confrontation between humanity and its former overlords. Just as the team prepared to initiate the shutdown of the facility's power core, an alarm shattered the fragile silence. Red lights flashed throughout the corridor as a deep, resonant voice echoed through the station's intercom in a language that chilled the blood. "Intruders detected. Activate countermeasures." Instantaneously, the calm efficiency of the alien station gave way to frantic activity. Nguyen's heart pounded as she barked orders. "We need to move now. Grab everything you can and fall back to the extraction point." The team raced through the corridors, data drives clutched tightly in their hands, as automated defenses began to converge on their position. Laser turrets emerged from hidden recesses, and the sound of energy blasts filled the air with deadly urgency. In a harrowing sequence of events, the team fought their way back to the corridors, narrowly avoiding blasts and evading capture as they retraced their steps along the labyrinthine passageways. Back aboard the stealth shuttle, Lieutenant Nguyen's team managed to secure their extraction, the shuttle's engines roaring to life as it broke free from the orbital station's gravity. Outside, the vast station receded into the inky blackness of space, its secrets partially captured, its threat temporarily staved off. Gwen exhaled slowly, her mind already racing with the implications of the data they had stolen. "This information is our key," she said into the comms, voice steady despite the adrenaline still coursing through her veins. "It will tell us how they continue to fuel their power, how they plan to rebuild what we destroyed. We must bring it back. Every bite of it must be analyzed and used to ensure that the alien overlords, even in their diminished state, never rise again." Meanwhile, on Earth's surface, the tide of liberation continued its relentless surge. Rebel forces, emboldened by recent victories and fueled by the unyielding spirit of a people reclaimed from the brink, advanced toward remaining alien fortresses. In the smoldering ruins of a once grand city, massive banners bearing the symbol of the human resistance fluttered in the breeze, a phoenix rising from the ashes. Civilian volunteers, many of them survivors who had endured years of subjugation, labored alongside hardened soldiers to clear rubble, rebuild shelters, and restore a semblance of order to a land long ravaged by tyranny. Every act of reconstruction, every shared meal and hopeful smile, was a testament to the enduring will of humanity. Back in the Rebel Command Center, Commander Adrian Reyes convened a meeting with his top advisors and regional leaders. The mood was a mixture of cautious optimism and sober reflection, for while the alien overlords had been toppled and the resistance was gaining ground, there remained a long road ahead. "We have achieved what many thought impossible," Reyes stated, his voice both triumphant and tempered by loss. "But our victory is not complete until every corner of our world is free. We must consolidate our gains, rebuild our institutions, and forge alliances that will stand against any threat that might emerge, be it from the remnants of the alien regime or from our own internal divisions." His words were met with nods and murmurs of agreement, as leaders recognized that the true triumph of humanity would be measured not only in military victories, but in the ability to build a just and sustainable society. The data extracted by Lieutenant Nguyen's team soon reached the rebel headquarters, where Dr. Oliver Grant and his technical experts began the painstaking process of decrypting the alien files. Late into the night, in a dimly lit war room lined with monitors and overflowing with stacks of documents, Grant worked tirelessly to unravel the cryptic code. These files contained detailed schematics of energy manipulation and advanced defense protocols. He explained to a gathered group of scientists and strategists, "If we can understand and adapt this technology, It will give us a decisive advantage. But more importantly, it will expose the vulnerabilities of the alien system, vulnerabilities that we can exploit to ensure that their tyranny is never revived. His words lit a spark of determination in those listening, as they realized that the knowledge locked within these files was a culmination of years of suffering and the beacon of a brighter future. In the days that followed, as rebel forces consolidated their positions and prepared for the next phase of the campaign, a fragile alliance of liberated peoples emerged, a federation of regions united by a common goal. In newly established centers of governance, representatives debated policies, shared resources, and forged bonds that transcended former rivalries. The memory of oppression was a constant reminder of what had been lost, but also fueled a fierce desire to build something new, a society that honored the sacrifices of the past while embracing the promise of tomorrow. "We must not allow the specter of tyranny to haunt us again," declared Isabel Loran, a passionate advocate for peace and justice, during a public forum in a rebuilt town square. "Our future depends on our unity, on our ability to learn from the horrors we have witnessed, and to create a world where freedom, equality, and hope are the birthrights of every human being." Her words, resonating with the collective memory of struggle and triumph, instill hope in those who had long suffered under the yoke of alien oppression. Yet, even as humanity celebrated its hard-won victories, challenges lurked on the horizon. Intelligence reports began to surface of scattered pockets of alien loyalists, remnants of a regime that refused to accept defeat and had retreated to hidden enclaves in the far reaches of the globe and even into space. These groups, desperate to reclaim a semblance of their former power, plotted in secret and waited for the opportune moment to strike back. In the hushed corridors of rebel headquarters, security experts warned of potential insurgencies that could destabilize the fragile order that was slowly taking shape. "Our enemies may be defeated on the battlefield," warned a veteran intelligence officer, "but the battle for hearts and minds is far from over. We must remain vigilant against internal threats, for the seeds of tyranny can sprout in even the most fertile soil if we are not careful." As the rebel leadership convened to address these emerging challenges, Commander Reyes found himself reflecting on the journey that had brought them to this moment. Standing on a makeshift balcony overlooking a liberated city, a place once choked by alien dominance, now humming with the tentative rhythms of renewal, he gazed out at a horizon filled with both promise and uncertainty. "We have tasted victory," he murmured to himself, "but true triumph is not merely the fall of our oppressors. It is the enduring spirit that carries us forward, the unyielding commitment to create a future where every human being can live free and dignified." His voice, soft yet resolute, was carried on the wind as he watched children play among the ruins, their laughter a testament to the possibility of rebirth even after the darkest of nights. In a final moment of quiet resolve, as twilight approached and the scarred landscape of Earth was bathed in the gentle hues of dusk, the rebel leaders gathered once more in a circle beneath the stars. There, in the fading light, they pledged to honor the legacy of those who had fallen and protect the newfound freedom with every fiber of their being. "This is our moment," Reyes declared, eyes gleaming with both sorrow and fierce determination. "The alien overlord have fallen, but our journey is just beginning. We must carry forward the torch of liberty, and in our unity, build a world where humanity's spirit can soar higher than ever before." The circle echoed with silent vows and shared glances, each one a promise that the ultimate triumph of humanity was not a distant dream, but reality they would forge together. And so, as the night deepened and the stars shone down on a world reborn from the ashes of tyranny, humanity marched onward. In every liberated street, in every rebuilt home, in every tender smile and steadfast gaze, the message was clear. The era of oppression was over, and the future belonged to those brave enough to claim it. The legacy of the fallen alien overlords had been shattered by the unbreakable will of a united people, and in that victory lay the seeds of a new civilization, a civilization built not on the remnants of fear, but on the promise of hope, resilience, and eternal freedom. In the soft murmur of a midnight breeze and the steady pulse of hearts newly unburdened by tyranny, the story of humanity's ultimate triumph continued to unfold. A story of struggle and sacrifice, of unity and rebirth, a story that would echo through the ages as a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. The battle was won, but the war for the soul of the liberated world had only just begun, and the promise of tomorrow shone bright against the eternal canvas of the stars. Alien overlords fall, humanity's ultimate triumph. A cold, determined resolve had settled over the newly liberated world. In the aftermath of the crushing defeat of the alien overlords, humanity found itself at a crossroads. A fragile peace had been brokered with the remnants of tyranny, but the scars of oppression were etched deeply into every ruined street and shattered monument. Now, as the sun climbed slowly over a landscape in mourning and rebirth, the survivors began the laborious task of forging a new order from the ashes of the old regime. The winds carried whispers of hope and warnings alike, and in every community that dared arise, the spirit of resistance burned as fiercely as ever. In a sprawling makeshift command center set up in the heart of what had once been a grand metropolis, Commander Adrian Reyes studied a massive digital map projected on a cracked wall. The map, pieced together from countless intercepted signals and salvaged data caches, showed the outlines of former cities, rebel strongholds, and the hidden networks that now form the backbone of human society. Reyes's eyes, dark and steady with the weight of memory, flitted over the coordinates where liberated territories were consolidating their strength. "We have won a great battle," he said in a low, resonant tone that filled the crowded room. "But our victory is measured not merely by the fall of our oppressors, but by our ability to rebuild, to unite, and to ensure that never again will fear rule our lives." His voice, both a rallying cry and a benediction, stirred every heart present. Across the liberated lands, in towns and cities that had once been shackled under alien domination, the pulse of revolution now gave way to the steady rhythm of reconstruction. In one such city, its high rises scarred by war and its streets lined with the remnants of rebellion, teams of engineers and architects worked tirelessly to restore power, rebuild infrastructure, and create centers for education and healing. Among them was Dr. Isabelle Lauron, a visionary whose tireless efforts had already transformed several former alien facilities into hubs of human ingenuity. In the middle of a bustling reconstruction site, where solar arrays and wind turbines began to reclaim the skyline, Isabelle addressed a gathering of workers and volunteers. "Our strength lies in our unity," she declared, her voice trembling with emotion and hope. "Today, we reclaim not just our cities, but the very essence of what it means to be human. Our culture, our art, our dreams. They will rise again from these ruins, stronger and more radiant than ever before." Yet, the path ahead was not without peril. As liberated territories struggled to stabilize, remnants of the alien loyalist factions, disparate cells that had retreated into hidden enclaves, began to stir. Rumors spread like wildfire through the corridors of the new governments. Secret armories, clandestine laboratories, and shadowy figures who clung to the ideology of subjugation. In a dimly lit briefing room deep within a repurposed government bunker, a council of regional leaders debated the threat. "We must remain ever vigilant," intoned General Mark Delgado, his face set in grim determination. "The aliens may be defeated, but their legacy is insidious. They left behind systems and ideologies that could easily be resurrected if we allowed division among ourselves." His words, heavy with the lessons of the past, resonated with every delegate present. A fragile consensus emerged. While celebrating freedom, they must also fortify their defenses and ensure that the corrupting influences of tyranny could never again take root in human hearts. In the days that followed, the newly established alliance of liberated peoples convened in a grand assembly held in a restored auditorium, a monument to the resilience of a people who had known both the depths of despair and the heights of hope. The chamber, filled with representatives from every corner of the once enslaved world, buzzed with fervent debates and heartfelt pledges. Commander Reyes, standing at the dais with his weathered face illuminated by soft light, addressed the assembly. "Our struggle has not ended with the fall of the Overlords," he proclaimed. "For true liberation comes not only from breaking chains, but from uniting as one. Let us pledge to build a society where every individual is valued, where justice is the bedrock of our institutions, and where the lessons of our past guide us toward a future of lasting peace." His words, met with applause and tearful nods, ignited a sense of purpose that transcended borders and old rivalries. Meanwhile, in the twilight shadows of the reclaimed capital, hidden operatives worked behind the scenes to dismantle the alien remnants still lurking in the forgotten corners of the world. Lieutenant Saren Gwyn, who had distinguished herself as a sharpshooter in the earlier battles, now led a covert unit tasked with rooting out insurgent cells. Under the cover of darkness, her team navigated crumbling alleyways and derelict industrial complexes, their every step a silent vow to protect the hard-won freedom of their people. In one daring operation, they infiltrated a secret meeting of alien loyalists deep beneath an abandoned factory. The tension was palpable as whispered words and furtive glances revealed a plan to reassemble a command structure that could threaten the new order. With precision and quiet resolve, Nguyen's team subdued the conspirators, capturing vital intelligence that would later be used to preempt further insurrections. "We may be shadows," Nguyen later confided in a hushed debriefing, "but it is in our vigilance that the light of freedom is sustained." In the midst of these transformative events, personal stories of loss, love, and redemption unfolded like delicate petals against a backdrop of scars. Malik, the young recruit whose bravery had first stirred hope among the oppressed, struggled with the dual burdens of grief and responsibility. Haunted by memories of family loss and the initial onslaught, he found solace in the quiet moments shared with fellow survivors. One evening, as he sat by a makeshift memorial in a rebuilt park, Malik listened to an elderly woman reciting a poem about the resilience of the human spirit. "Every tear we shed waters the seed of a new beginning," she murmured, her voice soft and filled with both sorrow and hope. In that moment, Malik realized that every act of remembrance was a defiant declaration. The past, however painful, was a foundation upon which a brighter future would be built. The struggle to rebuild was mirrored by an internal evolution that began to reshape the very nature of human society. New institutions, founded on the principles of equality, justice, and transparency, emerged from the ashes of the old regimes. In bustling centers of learning, educators and innovators worked together to rediscover lost knowledge and forge new paths in science, art, and governance. Dr. Laurent, whose vision had inspired countless initiatives, became a leading voice in the establishment of the New Earth Academy. A sprawling campus where the wisdom of ancient civilizations was taught alongside the latest advancements in technology and social theory. In one of the Academy's grand lecture halls, a professor addressed a class of eager students. "We stand at the threshold of a new era," he proclaimed, "one defined not by the tyrants who once ruled us, but by our collective ability to learn from the past and shape our destiny with compassion and courage." His words, reverberating through the hall, carried the promise that the ultimate triumph of humanity was not measured solely in military victories, but in the enduring strength of a united, enlightened society. Yet, even as new hope blossomed, tensions simmered beneath the surface. Deep-seated mistrust, fueled by the trauma of years under alien domination, created fissures among those who now sought to build a common future. In quiet chambers behind closed doors, debates flared about the allocation of resources, the proper balance between security and liberty, and the risk that power, once centralized, might again lead to oppression. General Delgado, ever the cautious strategist, warned, "The enemy we fought was not only external, it was also within. We must ensure that our new institutions are built on the principles of decentralization and accountability, lest we fall prey to the very mistakes we have fought so hard to overcome." His words, though met with some resistance, sparked a movement toward participatory governance and local empowerment, a shift that would eventually help to heal the wounds of division and forge a more resilient society. Amid this political and social reawakening, the specter of the alien empire continued to haunt the fringes of human memory. In distant sectors of space, whispers of organized resistance among surviving alien loyalists grew louder, and sporadic skirmishes on the outer colonies hinted that the Overlord's legacy was not entirely extinguished. Intelligence reports, pieced together by a network of informants and sympathetic insiders, suggested that a hidden fleet of alien warships was regrouping in the far reaches of the solar system. These vessels, relics of a time when the alien regime ruled with impunity, posed a new and ominous challenge. In the Central Command of the Alliance of Liberated Peoples, Commander Reyes convened an urgent meeting with military strategists. "We must be prepared for the possibility of a resurgence," he warned, his voice resolute yet edged with caution. "While we celebrate our victories, we cannot afford complacency. Our defenses must be strengthened, our intelligence networks expanded, and our unity unassailable. The remnants of the old empire may seek to reclaim their lost dominion, and if they do, We must stand ready to meet them head-on. In response, the newly formed military council set about transforming the old alien technologies into formidable defensive systems. Engineers and scientists collaborated to reverse engineer energy shields, propulsion systems, and communication arrays, adapting them to serve the needs of a free people. Testaments to human ingenuity began the skies. Skyborne fortresses, autonomous drones, and retrofitted warships that patrolled the borders of reclaimed territories. Lieutenant Nguyen, now a seasoned veteran of covert operations, oversaw the integration of these systems into a unified defense grid that stretched from urban centers to remote frontier outposts. Our survival depends on our ability to learn from our foes, she said during a field briefing, and to transform their technology into a tool for our liberation. Every piece of scrap, every alien component we repurpose, is a victory over the tyranny that once sought to crush us. Yet, as the military apparatus grew stronger, so too did the cultural renaissance that was sweeping the land. Artists, musicians, and writers found in the trials of the past a wellspring of inspiration, a call to celebrate the indomitable human spirit. In vibrant street festivals held in the heart of rebuilt cities, the echoes of ancient chants mix with the strains of modern melodies. Murals depicting the fall of the alien overlords, the heroic deeds of the resistance, and the rebirth of communities now painted the walls of public squares. These public celebrations, though tinged with sorrow for the losses incurred, radiated an optimism that was infectious. They were not merely acts of defiance, but affirmations of life, a vivid declaration that humanity, in all its diversity and imperfection, had risen from the ashes to reclaim its rightful place among the stars. In one such celebration, a young poet named Amara took to the stage in a crowded plaza, her voice soft yet resonant as she recited verses that captured the essence of the struggle. "We are the children of a broken past," she intoned, "but our dreams are the architects of a new tomorrow. Let every scar be a story, every tear a testament, and every victory the seed of hope. For we have witnessed the fall of tyrants, and in our unity we rise triumphant." The crowd, a sea of hopeful faces, responded with a stirring chorus of affirmation, a living, breathing tribute to the power of the human spirit. Yet, even as humanity celebrated its newfound freedom, a sense of unfinished business permeated the air. The liberation of Earth was but the first chapter in a saga that extended far beyond the boundaries of a single planet. Across the cosmos, whispers of new frontiers and untold challenges beckoned. The scientific community, invigorated by the conquest of oppression, turned its gaze toward the stars. Dr. Loron and her team at the New Earth Academy began drafting ambitious plans for interstellar exploration, a bold initiative to chart distant galaxies and search for habitable worlds where humanity could expand its reach. "Our journey does not end here," Dr. Loron proclaimed in a stirring lecture to a packed auditorium of students and scholars. "It is only the beginning. The lessons we have learned in the crucible of tyranny must now serve as a foundation for a future where our spirit is free to explore, to create, and to flourish among the stars." Her words, infused with both intellectual fervor and the raw emotion of a people reborn, ignited imaginations and set hearts alight with the prospect of new adventures. Even as the drive to explore propelled humanity outward, the leadership of the Alliance of Liberated Peoples remained deeply committed to the task of healing the wounds of the past. In the quiet offices of regional councils and the bustling corridors of community centers, discussions were held on how best to reconcile the memories of suffering while forging a path forward. A new generation of leaders emerged, individuals who had grown up amid the ruins but had been nurtured by the promise of rebirth. They championed policies of restorative justice, education, and cultural exchange, determined that the scars of oppression would not be repeated in the new world they were building. Commander Reyes, ever the stalwart guardian of human dignity, continued to serve as a guiding light through turbulent times. In a series of televised addresses broadcast across the liberated territories, he spoke of resilience, unity, and the eternal flame of freedom that burned within every human heart. "Our enemy thought that by imposing their will, they could snuff out our light," he declared in one such address, his voice echoing across city squares and rural hamlet alike. But they underestimated the power of hope, the strength of unity, and the unbreakable will of a people who refused to be subjugated. Today, we stand together as one, a united humanity with a future that is as bright as the stars above. His words, broadcast in both digital and analog forms, reached every corner of a recovering world, instilling a renewed sense of pride and responsibility. Amid these triumphs, however, the specter of potential betrayal and the challenges of rebuilding remained ever present. Internal divisions, fueled by the lingering trauma of years under alien rule, occasionally flared into bitter disputes. Factions argued over the allocation of resources, the integration of repurposed alien technology, and the best way to balance centralized power with local autonomy. In a heated debate held in a newly established assembly hall in the reclaimed city of New Avalon, a veteran leader warned, "We must be cautious that in our haste to rebuild, we do not recreate the same hierarchies that once doomed us to oppression. Our victory must be shared by all, not hoarded by a select few." His words, met with nods of agreement and impassioned counterpoints alike, underscore the delicate nature of this transitional period, a time when every decision carried the weight of the past and the promise of the future. In the midst of this intricate dance of politics, war, and culture, the universe itself seemed to offer a quiet reminder that humanity's journey was only beginning. Astronomers, inspired by the newfound freedom and technological prowess, began to detect faint signals emanating from distant star systems, signals that hinted at the existence of other worlds and possibly even other civilizations that had suffered under similar oppressions. These discoveries, while unconfirmed and wrapped in the mystery of deep space, ignited a collective dream that humanity's ultimate triumph might not only secure freedom on Earth, but could also herald a new era of interstellar unity. In the corridors of the New Earth Academy, lectures and debates raged about the philosophical and scientific implications of life beyond their world, while star charts and telescopes became symbols of hope, inquiry, and the boundless potential of a species unshackled from its past. As the seasons turned and the hard work of rebuilding began to bear fruit, a pivotal moment arrived. A summit of liberated nations convened in a grand amphitheater fashioned from the remnants of an old government building, now restored with a blend of modern technology and classical design. Here, leaders from every corner of the Alliance gathered to sign an accord, a formal declaration of unity, freedom, and mutual support. The air was thick with emotion as representatives recounted the struggles of the past and expressed their commitment to a future defined by cooperation and justice. "Let this accord be a living document," declared Isabel Lauron, her voice both firm and tender, "a testament to our shared pain and our shared hope. It is not the end of our journey, but the foundation upon which we will build a new civilization, one where every human being can thrive in freedom and dignity." The signing was met with resounding applause, tears, and the heartfelt embrace of a people united by a common cause. Yet, even as celebrations abounded, intelligence from the fringes of space began to report unsettling signs, a faint but unmistakable signal from a remote region, suggesting that not all remnants of the alien empire had been vanquished. In a secure briefing held under the watchful eyes of seasoned strategists, General Delgado presented the findings. "Our scouts have detected a series of coordinated transmissions," he explained gravely. "They appear to be coming from a hidden fleet of alien warships regrouping in the outer solar system. While these forces are not yet a direct threat, their existence reminds us that vigilance is paramount. We must continue to strengthen our defenses, for the struggle for freedom is eternal." His words, delivered with the somber realism of one who had known both victory and loss, added a new layer of urgency to the Alliance's efforts, reminding all that even as humanity celebrated its ultimate triumph over tyranny, the universe remained an arena of constant challenge and renewal. In the days that followed, as the newly unified government worked to integrate the diverse needs of its people and prepare for the uncertain threats on the horizon, Commander Reyes took to the airwaves once more. In an address broadcast from the heart of New Avalon, he spoke to a nation reborn from the ashes of oppression. "We stand at the threshold of a new era," he proclaimed, his voice resonant and steady. "Our enemies have fallen, and our chains have been shattered. Yet our journey does not end with liberation. It is only the beginning. We must build a society that honors the sacrifices of the past, that learns from our mistakes, and that forges a future defined by justice, innovation, and compassion. The path ahead may be fraught with challenges, but I have no doubt that our collective spirit, our unyielding will to be free, will guide us to ever greater heights." His words, echoing across the nation and beyond, serve as both a benediction and a challenge, a call to remain ever vigilant united and determined to face a universe that would never cease to test the limits of hope. As twilight fell over a world slowly healing, the quiet murmur of conversation in crowded communal halls and the steady hum of rebuilding machinery formed the backdrop to humanity's ongoing saga. The legacy of the fallen alien overlords, once symbols of insurmountable power, had been transformed by the indomitable will of a people united in freedom. In every street corner, every school, every new institution, the spirit of resistance and renewal thrived, a living, breathing testament that tyranny could be overthrown and that hope could illuminate even the darkest of times. In a secluded garden behind the New Earth Academy, where wildflowers grew among the ruins of concrete and steel, Malik sat with an elderly man whose eyes held the wisdom of many hard-fought years. They talked in hushed tones about the future, a future that was uncertain but filled with promise. "Remember," the old man said, his voice soft yet resolute, "our greatest triumph is not measured by the fall of our oppressors, but by our ability to rise after every fall, to rebuild, and to forge bonds that no enemy can ever break." Malik listened intently, feeling the truth of those words seep into his soul like sunlight through dark clouds. As the night deepened and the stars emerged in their ancient splendor, the various threads of humanity's new destiny wove together into a tapestry of enduring hope and quiet determination. The Alliance, though still young and burdened with the challenges of governance and defense, had already shown that the human spirit could transform devastation into a fertile ground for growth. With every reconstruction project, every act of defiant creativity, and every shared smile in the face of adversity, the people of Earth were writing a new chapter, a chapter that promised not only survival but a flourishing of culture, innovation, and unity that would echo through the cosmos for generations to come. And so, as the Allied fleet of the liberated world prepared to cast its gaze beyond the confines of Earth, a gaze that reached out to distant stars and unknown worlds, the message was clear. The fall of the alien overlords was not the end of the story, but the spark that ignited humanity's ultimate triumph. The long night of oppression had given way to a dawn of infinite possibility, and every heart beat with the promise of a future where freedom, dignity, and hope reigned supreme. In the soft glow of a rising sun and the gentle murmur of a world awakening to its true potential, humanity stepped forward with cautious optimism and unyielding courage. Their journey was far from complete, the road ahead winding through both promise and peril, but they marched onward, united by the lessons of the past and driven by the unquenchable desire to forge a future that honored the sacrifices of those who had come before. In every liberated city, every rebuilt community, and every act of defiance against the lingering shadows of tyranny, the ultimate triumph of the human spirit shone bright, a beacon in the eternal night. The dawn after the great uprising was not gentle. It was forged in the crucible of conflict and sacrifice. As the remnants of the alien war machines lay smoldering amid the ruined avenues of a once proud capital, the newly liberated people of Earth rose with the fierce determination of those who had tasted both oppression and hope. In the gray light of early morning, Commander Adrian Reyes, his face etched with the memories of countless battles and the quiet sorrow of loss, surveyed the horizon from a makeshift observation platform built atop a crumbling government edifice. Before him, the sprawling city of New Avalon, still bearing the scars of alien tyranny, was beginning its slow transformation from a landscape of desolation into a symbol of rebirth. Reyes's eyes, dark with resolve, reflected the rising sun as he addressed a gathering of military leaders and civic representatives who had come together in a moment of fragile unity. "We have won the battle that shattered our oppressors," Reyes said in a voice that trembled with both pride and burden. "But our struggle is only beginning. Our freedom was hard-won, and now we must build a future that ensures it endures. Today, we stand not as the broken survivors of yesterday, but as the architects of a new tomorrow, a tomorrow where our unity and our relentless spirit will shine brighter than any star." His words, simple and sincere, were met with murmurs of determined assent, their echoes mingling with the distant hum of reconstruction efforts. Across the liberated districts, the pulse of revolution had given way to the rhythm of rebuilding. In streets once patrolled by ruthless alien enforcers, workers labored side by side with engineers, clearing debris and restoring power to shuttered neighborhoods. In one vibrant sector of New Avalon, where neon signs of rebellion had once flickered in defiance, a new community center was emerging. Here, Former resistance fighters now worked alongside teachers and healers to transform relics of war into symbols of unity and progress. Dr. Isabel Loran, whose visionary leadership had spurred the creation of the New Earth Academy, toured the site with a quiet smile playing on her lips. Every brick we lay, every connection we rebuild, is a testament to our resilience, she said softly to a group of wide-eyed children gathered around a makeshift mural depicting humanity's struggle. Our history is written not only in the scars of our past, but in the hope of our future. Yet, while the promise of renewal spread like light through the dark corners of the battered cities, shadows still lurked on the periphery. Intelligence reports filtered into rebel headquarters, carried by wary scouts and clandestine informants, revealing that the alien remnants had not vanished entirely. Deep in the outer reaches of Earth's orbit, hidden fleets, vestiges of the once mighty Overlords, were regrouping, their movements shrouded in secrecy and menace. In a secure war room beneath the Rebel Command Center, General Mark Delgado, his face set in steely determination, pored over star charts and intercepted transmissions. Our victory was significant, he cautioned, but the enemy has not been completely eradicated. Their loyalists, fragmented and desperate, may seek to reclaim what they have lost. We must remain vigilant, fortify our defenses, and be prepared for counterattacks from the shadows. His tone was grave, and though his words brought a sober chill to the room, they were balanced by a collective resolve to protect the fledgling freedom they had fought so long for. Amid these strategic concerns, personal stories of courage and loss continue to define the new era. Malik, the young recruit who had once cowered in fear beneath the alien regime, now walked among his people as a symbol of hope. Though his eyes still sometimes flickered with memories of unspeakable grief, his steps were steady and purposeful. One crisp evening, as twilight painted the battered skyline in hues of orange and violet, Malik sat with an elderly neighbor on the steps of a half-rebuilt community hall. The old man's voice was soft but filled with the weight of history. Every hardship, every tear shed in the dark, has led us to this moment, he murmured. Remember, it is not the fall of our oppressors that defines us. It is our ability to rise, to rebuild, and to honor those we lost by ensuring that our future is one of justice and dignity. Malik nodded slowly, feeling those words sink deep into his soul as he gazed upward at the emerging stars, each one a silent witness to the ongoing saga of humanity. In the days that followed, as the rebel coalition moved to consolidate its gains, a momentous summit was convened. Leaders from every corner of the liberated world gathered in a grand assembly hall that had once served as the center of alien governance. The vast chamber, now refurbished with a blend of salvaged alien technology and human ingenuity, buzzed with fervent debate and heartfelt pledges. Commander Reyes took the stage once more, his presence commanding the attention of all present. Today, we come together not as separate factions, but as one people, he declared, his voice rising with passion. Our unity is our greatest strength. The legacy of our past is one of struggle and sacrifice, but it is also one of hope, creativity, and unbreakable resolve. We will build a government that honors every voice, that upholds justice, and that ensures our freedom is never again jeopardized by tyranny. The assembly erupted in applause, a resounding affirmation of the new bonds being forged in the crucible of adversity. Even as the leaders celebrated their unity, a clandestine undercurrent of dissent continued to challenge the fragile harmony. In the quiet back rooms of newly established government centers, debates raged about how best to distribute power and resources, and whether centralization of authority might inadvertently pave the way for a new form of oppression. Some voices, tempered by personal loss and bitter memories, warned that if the scars of the past were not healed through genuine participation and transparency, the seeds of future tyranny would take root. We must learn from our mistakes, one elder leader insisted in a hushed council meeting, and ensure that every decision is made with the people for the people. Our freedom is sacred, and it must be guarded not only against external enemies, but against the darkness that can reside within us all. Beyond Earth's surface, the promise of exploration and expansion beckoned. In the newly revitalized laboratories of the New Earth Academy, scientists and engineers worked feverishly to repurpose alien technologies for peaceful and sustainable applications. Dr. Loron led a team in developing advanced energy systems that harness the power of the sun and the stars, while also designing communication arrays that could bridge the gap between Earth and other potential allies in distant galaxies. "Our destiny lies beyond these battered skies," she told a rapt audience during a public demonstration, her eyes shining with visionary light. "We have overcome oppression here on Earth, and now we must reach out to the cosmos. There's a whole universe out there waiting for us. One that may offer new opportunities, new friends, and even new challenges that will push us to rise ever higher." Her words stirred the hearts of many, fueling a burgeoning movement that looked to the stars with equal parts wonder and determination. Yet, even as the human spirit soared with aspirations of interstellar exploration, the specter of the alien loyalists continued to cast a long shadow. In a secret facility hidden deep within the remnants of a once thriving industrial district, a small group of alien sympathizers, men and women who had clung to the old order despite its inherent cruelty, huddled in fearful isolation. They whispered of a future in which the fallen overlords would rise again, of a secret fleet hidden in the dark recesses of space that would one day reclaim their lost empire. Their messages, carried on encrypted channels, sparked a sense of foreboding among the rebel intelligence units. "We must root out these elements before they can sow discord among our people," General Delgado warned in a briefing, his tone both commanding and cautious. "The battle for our future is not solely against the enemy we see. It is also against the lingering embers of hatred and division that can ignite at any moment." His words underscored the ever-present need for vigilance, even as the people celebrated their newfound freedom. As the months passed and the embers of war slowly gave way to the first tentative steps of rebuilding, a critical challenge emerged that would test the very fabric of the liberated society. A new, ominous signal began to pulse from the depths of space, a series of cryptic transmissions that bore the unmistakable signature of the alien technology long thought to be dormant. In the secure confines of the Rebel Command Center, Dr. Oliver Grant and his team worked around the clock to decode the messages. "These transmissions are unlike anything we've encountered," Grant explained during an emergency session, his voice strained with both excitement and trepidation. "They suggest that remnants of the alien empire are mobilizing in a region far from Earth, a region that may hold the key to their ultimate resurgence. We must be prepared for the possibility that our fight is not over, that there are forces in the cosmos still determined to reclaim their lost dominion." The revelation sent shockwaves through the leadership, casting a pall of uncertainty over the hard-won peace. Yet, even as anxiety gripped the council, a steely resolve took root. "Our victory is not defined by the absence of enemies," Commander Reyes declared, "but by our unwavering commitment to stand together in the face of any threat. We will monitor these signals, gather intelligence, and if necessary, launch a preemptive strike to neutralize any resurgence before it can imperil our future." In the midst of this strategic deliberation, personal triumphs and tragedies continued to shape the tapestry of the new world. Malik, now a seasoned young warrior, found himself at a crossroads when he received news that his long-lost brother, who had been presumed dead during the early days of the alien occupation, had been spotted among a group of survivors in a distant refugee camp. Torn between the euphoria of reunion and the sorrow of having been separated for so long, Malik struggled to reconcile the conflicting emotions that surged within him. In a quiet moment on a rooftop overlooking the city, he stared out at the illuminated skyline and whispered to the wind, "If our family can be reunited, then there's hope for us all. We must never forget that even in the darkest of times, the bonds of love and loyalty can light our way home." His voice, filled with raw vulnerability, was a poignant reminder that the struggle for liberation was not merely a battle for power. It was a quest to restore the human connections that had been nearly obliterated by tyranny. Elsewhere, Lieutenant Saren Gwynn continued to lead her covert unit with an unwavering determination to root out internal threats. Her latest mission had taken her into the underbelly of a newly liberated city, where she discovered evidence that a clandestine group of former alien collaborators was attempting to seize control of a regional government. In a daring nighttime raid, Gwynn and her team intercepted a meeting of these conspirators in a dilapidated warehouse. The confrontation was swift and silent, a flurry of precise, lethal strikes that left no room for compromise. "We cannot allow the poison of betrayal to seep into our new society," Gwen told her shaken but resolute team as they regrouped under the cover of darkness. Our fight for freedom must extend to every corner of our community, for even the smallest crack can allow the darkness to return. Her words were met with solemn nods, a silent vow that the ideals of the revolution will be defended at all costs. In the grand halls of the New Earth Academy, where educators and innovators strove to rebuild the cultural and intellectual legacy of a once great civilization, Dr. Isabel Lauron introduced a bold new initiative. She envisioned a program that would combine the recovered knowledge of ancient Earth with the latest advancements in science and technology, a curriculum designed to foster critical thinking, creativity, and unity among the next generation. Our history is not a chain that binds us to our past, she proclaimed to an assembly of eager students, but a bridge that connects us to a future where every idea, every dream can flourish. We are the architects of tomorrow, and it is our duty to build a world that reflects the best of what humanity can be. The response was a thunderous applause, a celebration of hope, resilience, and the promise of a brighter future. Yet, even as the forces of progress and unity converge, the mysterious transmissions from deep space continue to pulse with a disquieting rhythm. In the dim light of a secure war room, Commander Reyes reviewed the latest intelligence reports alongside General Delgado and Dr. Grant. "The signals are growing stronger," Grant noted, his fingers hovering over the holographic display that mapped the alien transmissions. "They are emanating from a sector beyond our immediate reach, a region that remains shrouded in darkness and uncertainty. We must prepare for the possibility of an all-out confrontation if these forces choose to emerge from the void." The room fell silent, the gravity of the situation sinking in. General Delgado's eyes narrowed. "We have our defenses in place," he said steadily, "but we must also consider diplomatic channels. Even if these transmissions signal a threat, there may be a way to negotiate, or at the very least, to delay their advance until we are ready." His words were met with cautious optimism and a renewed sense of purpose. It was clear that the struggle for freedom was far from over, and that humanity's ultimate triumph would depend on its ability to adapt, unite, and forge ahead even in the face of the unknown. As the day wore on, the pulse of these transmissions became a constant background rhythm, a reminder that the universe was vast, unpredictable, and filled with both wonder and peril. In quiet moments of introspection, many of the new leaders found themselves pondering the delicate balance between vigilance and hope. At a memorial service held in a rebuilt cathedral dedicated to the fallen, Commander Reyes stood before a crowd of grieving yet determined faces. "We honor the memory of those who paid the ultimate price for our freedom," he intoned, "and we carry their legacy in every act of courage, every step we take toward a future that is built on unity and justice. Let their sacrifice be the light that guides us through the darkness, and let our triumph be a testament to the unyielding spirit of humanity." The crowd listened in reverent silence, the words etching themselves into the collective heart of a people reborn. In the twilight hours, as the alien transmissions continued to beckon from the distant reaches of space, a sense of anticipation and unresolved tension hung in the air. The fate of the new world was intertwined with the mysteries of the cosmos, and every decision made in the coming days could tip the scales between lasting peace and renewed conflict. Yet, amid the uncertainty, there was a resolute belief, a belief that the legacy of those who had fallen, and the sacrifices made by every man, woman, and child, would pave the way for a future where freedom reigned supreme. As the Allied leaders retired for the night in their respective quarters, Commander Reyes stood alone on a balcony overlooking the city. The soft glow of streetlights and the distant hum of rebuilding efforts created a symphony of hope that resonated through the darkness. He took a deep, steadying breath and whispered into the cool air, "We have come so far, but our journey is only beginning. The shadow of our enemies may still loom, and the unknown waits beyond the stars, but as long as we stand together, nothing can extinguish the light of our collective spirit." His words, carried on a gentle breeze, seemed to merge with the starlight, a silent vow that the battle for humanity's soul would continue, that every challenge would be met with unwavering courage and every triumph celebrated as a testament to the enduring power of unity. In that moment of quiet resolve, the world held its breath, poised between the promise of a new dawn and the lingering echoes of past struggles. The alien transmissions pulsed softly in the background, a constant reminder that the universe was vast and its mysteries infinite. Yet, As the people of Earth prepared to face the uncertainties of tomorrow, they did so with the firm conviction that the ultimate triumph of the human spirit was not a fleeting moment, but an eternal flame, one that would continue to burn brightly through every trial, every victory, and every step taken toward a future defined by freedom, hope, and unity. And so, as the stars emerged in their ancient glory above a reborn Earth, the people marched onward into the night, their hearts, heavy with memory yet buoyed by unyielding determination, beat in unison with the timeless rhythm of the cosmos. The struggle was far from over. The road ahead was shrouded in mystery and fraught with peril. But each step, each act of courage, was a testament to the indomitable will of a people united by the common dream of liberty. With every liberated city, every reclaimed battlefield, and every soul that dared to dream of a better world, the legacy of humanity grew stronger, its flame refusing to be snuffed out by the darkness of tyranny or the uncertainties of fate. In the quiet moments before the new day's light, as the Allied Council prepared for further deliberations and the distant signals of the alien threat continued their relentless pulse, Commander Reyes allowed himself a single, hopeful smile. The journey that had begun in blood and sorrow was now a tapestry of resilience, a chronicle of triumph that would be written by every hand, every heart, and every brave soul willing to stand against oppression. The future was unwritten, its pages waiting to be filled with the stories of those who dared to challenge destiny, who believed in the power of unity and the enduring strength of the human spirit. The morning after the storm of rebellion was unlike any other the newly freed world had seen. The horizon shimmered with a hopeful radiance as cities still marked by scars of alien tyranny stirred to life. In the vast, reclaimed capital that had once been the seat of oppression, a new council had been formed, a coalition of former resistance leaders, engineers, educators, and everyday citizens united by the singular goal of forging a future unburdened by the chains of the past. Commander Adrian Reyes, whose resolute gaze had carried his people through the darkest hours, now presided over a meeting held in a cavernous hall built from the ruins of the old regime's glass towers. The atmosphere was electric with possibility, tempered by the hard lessons of history. Reyes's voice, deep and unwavering, resonated across the gathered crowd as he declared, "Our enemies may have fallen, but the path to true freedom is a journey without end. We must rebuild not only our cities but our very society, ensuring that our unity, our knowledge, and our compassion serve as the pillars of a new civilization." Outside, the city of New Avalon was already a mosaic of contrasts. In one district, workers, once cowering under alien rule, now labored side by side with engineers to raise new structures from the rubble. In another, children played in streets that had been cleansed of the remnants of oppression, their laughter a balm to those who had endured so much loss. Amid the flurry of reconstruction, debates raged in public squares and meeting halls about the very nature of governance. Many feared that the vestiges of alien ideology might infiltrate the nascent government. In hushed yet impassioned gatherings, leaders like General Mark Delgado and civic visionary Isabel Laurent argued that true freedom was not simply the absence of tyranny, but the active cultivation of justice, equality, and education. "We must ensure that our future is built on shared responsibility," declared Laurent to a crowd of hopeful citizens. "For only when every voice is heard can the legacy of our liberation be preserved for generations to come." Yet even as the people celebrated the liberation of Earth, intelligence reports began to hint at lingering shadows. Deep in remote corners of the planet, and far above in the silent vacuum of space, encrypted transmissions and fragmented sensor data revealed that pockets of alien loyalists, remnant of the old order, were regrouping. In a secure war room within the Rebel Command Center, seasoned analysts scrutinized star charts and intercepted signals. Dr. Oliver Grant, whose relentless pursuit of knowledge had become legendary among the liberated, explained in measured tones, "Our data indicate that a secret fleet, composed of alien warships thought to be lost, is gathering in the outer sectors. Although their numbers are small compared to our triumph, their technology is formidable. We must prepare for the possibility that these scattered forces may attempt a resurgence." His words sent ripples of apprehension through the room, yet they also steeled the resolve of the newly unified military leadership. Commander Reyes, standing beside General Delgado, nodded gravely. "We have learned that vigilance is the price of freedom. While we build our new society, we must also fortify our defenses against any threat that dares to darken our doorstep." In response, the newly established military council set about repurposing alien technology, once instruments of subjugation, into the backbone of Earth's defense. Workshops and repurposed factories bustled with activity as engineers and veterans collaborated to transform the enemy's advanced energy shields, propulsion systems, and communication networks into assets for the people. Lieutenant Serenguin, now a celebrated veteran of covert operations, led a task force dedicated to integrating these systems into a comprehensive security grid that stretched from urban centers to rural frontier outposts. Every component we salvage is a step toward ensuring that our hard-won freedom can never be taken from us again, she explained during a demonstration for new recruits, her voice firm and resolute. Her words, delivered against the backdrop of humming machinery and the clatter of progress, were a clarion call that reverberated throughout the nation. Amid this fervor of reconstruction and defense, personal stories of courage and renewal continued to unfold. Malik, the young recruit who had once been paralyzed by fear during the early days of occupation, now walked the rebuilt streets as a symbol of hope. One crisp evening, Malik visited a community garden nestled in the heart of a newly revitalized district. The garden, planted by survivors and nurtured by the hands of those determined to reclaim beauty from desolation, was a living testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Sitting beside an elderly woman whose gentle smile belied years of sorrow, Malik listened intently as she recounted memories of lost family and dreams that had once seemed impossible. "Our tears have watered the seeds of new beginning," she murmured softly, her eyes reflecting both pain and pride. In that quiet exchange, Malik felt a renewed determination to honor every sacrifice by building a future where hope was the currency of every day. Beyond the borders of the reborn cities, a new frontier beckoned. At the New Earth Academy, a sprawling campus built from the fusion of salvaged alien technology and human innovation, scholars and students gathered to chart the next chapter of exploration. Dr. Isabel Loran, a tireless advocate for both learning and progress, delivered an inspiring lecture before a captivated audience. "Our liberation has shown us that the boundaries of our world are not fixed," she proclaimed, gesturing toward star charts that spanned the walls of the lecture hall. "The universe is vast and filled with mysteries waiting to be unraveled. Our destiny is not confined to Earth alone. We must extend our reach into the cosmos, forging alliances with new civilizations, and gathering knowledge that will empower us to build a society where every individual can thrive." The vision she painted was one of interstellar unity, a future where humanity's triumph over oppression would serve as a foundation for a broader alliance among the stars. Her words sparked a wave of enthusiasm that rippled to the academy, igniting dreams of new adventures and discoveries. However, even as the promise of interstellar exploration captivated the minds of the young and idealistic, the specter of internal discord loomed. In the corridors of the provisional government, debates over resource allocation, governance structures, and the preservation of cultural memory intensified. Some factions, wary of centralized power and haunted by memories of the alien regime's tyranny, advocated for a highly decentralized system where local communities retained autonomy. Others, convinced that a strong central government was essential for defense and progress, argued for creation of a unified authority to coordinate the nation's efforts. In a tense session held in a restored assembly hall, voices rose and fell in impassioned arguments. "We cannot allow the bitterness of our past to fracture the unity that has given us this hard-won freedom," declared General Delgado, his tone a blend of stern warning and hopeful aspiration. "Our strength lies in our ability to come together as one people, sharing resources, knowledge, and the burdens of rebuilding. Only then can we ensure that our legacy is one of justice and equality." His words, resonant with the experiences of battle and the wisdom of caution, eventually helped to forge a tentative consensus, a blueprint for governance that would evolve as the nation healed and matured. As days turned into weeks, and the process of rebuilding began to take tangible form, intelligence reports from the outer reaches of space added a new layer of urgency to the fledgling nation's challenges. Deep in the remote sectors of the solar system, encrypted transmissions hinted at the mobilization of an alien remnant fleet. Although small in number, these vessels were armed with technology that had once dominated Earth's skies. In a secure briefing held in the Rebel Command Center, Commander Reyes and his top strategists pored over data, trying to decipher the ominous signals. "We must assume that our enemy is regrouping," Reyes stated, his voice echoing off the cold metal walls of the room. "While we have claimed victory on Earth, the possibility remains that these alien loyalists will attempt to reclaim their lost dominion. Our preparations must be relentless, and our resolve unyielding." The strategic discussions that followed were laced with tension, as military experts debated the merits of a preemptive strike versus a diplomatic effort to contain the threat. In the end, a decision was made to bolster the defensive grid and initiate covert reconnaissance missions to track the movements of the hidden fleet, ensuring that the promise of freedom would not be short-lived. Amid these weighty strategic deliberations, personal moments of introspection offered solace and renewal. Malik, now more confident and experienced, found himself revisiting the community garden one cool evening. The garden, alive with vibrant blooms and the gentle hum of new life, seemed to embody the very essence of what humanity had fought for. Sitting on a weathered bench, Malik recalled the harrowing days of fear and despair and realized that each small act of rebuilding was a defiant stand against oblivion. Our future, he thought, is built on the courage to nurture hope, even when the darkness seems overwhelming. In that quiet moment, as the stars emerged one by one in the night sky, Malik made a silent vow to himself to protect the fragile beauty of this new world and to ensure that the triumph of the human spirit would continue to light the way. Elsewhere, Lieutenant Saren Gwyn led her covert unit on patrols along the newly established borders of the liberated territories. With her keen senses and battle-hardened instincts, she intercepted coded messages from suspected alien sympathizers lurking in the fringes of society. In a daring operation under the cover of darkness, Gwyn and her team thwarted an attempted sabotage of a critical energy installation, a facility that powered the advanced defense systems of New Avalon. "Every act of treachery we uncover strengthens our resolve," Gwyn told her team afterward, her eyes steely with determination. "We must remain ever vigilant, for the enemy of our freedom can come not only from outside, but from within. Our unity is our shield, and our watchfulness our sword." Her words, spoken in the aftermath of victory, serve as a reminder that the battle for a just society was multifaceted, a struggle against both external oppressors and internal divisions. In the bustling corridors of the New Earth Academy, where the thirst for knowledge was rivaled only by the passion for discovery, Dr. Isabel Loron unveiled a groundbreaking research initiative. Working alongside interdisciplinary teams, she announced plans to harness repurposed alien technology to develop sustainable energy systems and advanced communication networks that could link Earth with potential allies in distant star systems. "Our liberation has given us the tools to rebuild," she explained during a public demonstration, "but it is our commitment to innovation and learning that will secure our future. We must embrace every opportunity to grow, intellectually, technologically, and culturally, so that the legacy of our struggle becomes a beacon for generations to come." The announcement was met with enthusiastic applause, as students and scholars alike recognized that the future was a canvas awaiting the bold strokes of human ingenuity. Even as the promise of interstellar exploration and scientific advancement kindled new dreams, the specter of past oppressions loomed as a sobering counterpoint. In the secure halls of the Rebel Command Center, a series of confidential reports detailed unsettling anomalies in the encrypted transmissions from deep space, signals that suggested the alien remnant fleet was not only mobilizing, but may have established a hidden outpost near the outer edge of the solar system. Commander Reyes, his face set in a mask of steely resolve, convened a high-level strategy meeting. "We cannot ignore these signals," he asserted, his voice firm yet laced with a note of urgency. "Our recent victories have emboldened us, but they have also made us targets. The enemy may seek to exploit any weakness we display. We must double our efforts, expand our intelligence network, fortify our defenses, and prepare for possibility of an engagement that could test our resolve like never before." The room fell silent as the gravity of the situation sank in, though hope radiated from every corner of the liberated world. The truth remained that freedom was a constant struggle, and every day brought new challenges that would require unwavering unity and determination. As twilight descended on New Avalon, the city lights flickered to life in a display of resilience against the encroaching darkness. In a quiet corner of a newly rebuilt park, Malik, now a symbol of hope for the youth, sat with an elderly neighbor who recounted the long night of oppression with both sorrow and fierce pride. "We have come so far," the old man whispered, his voice rough with emotion. "But our journey is not over. Every victory we claim, every stone we lay, is a step toward a future where no one shall live in fear again." Malik nodded slowly, his heart swelling with the conviction that the sacrifices of the past would fuel the promise of tomorrow. High above the city, in the fortified towers of the Rebel Command Center, Commander Reyes stood before a panoramic viewport that framed the vast expanse of sky filled with stars. The soft hum of the defensive grid and the distant murmur of preparations for potential conflict served as a constant reminder that vigilance was the price of freedom. In a quiet moment of introspection, he allowed himself to gaze at the shimmering constellations, a reminder that the universe, in all its boundless mystery, held both dangers and infinite possibilities. "Our enemy may still lurk in the shadows of space," he murmured to himself, "but as long as we stand together, nothing can ever break the unyielding spirit of humanity." His words, carried on the gentle night wind, were a solemn vow to every soul that had fought, suffered, and sacrificed for the cause of liberation. In the corridors of the New Earth Academy, amid the excited chatter of students and the focused energy of researchers, a new sense of purpose was steadily taking root. Dr. Loran, her eyes alight with visionary fire, gathered a group of young innovators and declared, "We have reclaimed our planet from the clutches of tyranny, but our destiny lies beyond these skies. Our challenge is to reach out, to explore the cosmos, and to build bridges of peace and cooperation with other worlds. Let our achievements here be the foundation upon which we build a future of interstellar unity." Her words resonated like a call to adventure, stirring dreams of starships, distant galaxies, and the hope of a united universe. Yet, even as dreams soared and new institutions began to shape the future, the memories of the past remained ever present. In secret meetings and quiet vigils, survivors honored those who had fallen. Monuments built not of stone but of memory, where names were recited and stories passed from one generation to the next. Malik, Nguyen, Reyes, Loran, and countless others knew that every victory was intertwined with the pain of loss, and that true triumph lay in the ability to learn from the past while daring to imagine a better future. In that delicate balance of grief and hope, the legacy of humanity was continually being rewritten, a story of defiance, unity, and the relentless drive to overcome. As the Allied forces of the liberated world continued to consolidate their gains and prepare for the unknown threats that still lurked in the cosmic dark, a new challenge emerged on the horizon. Encrypted messages, more urgent and insistent than before, began to pulse from a distant sector of space, a region that had long been considered a dead zone by the Rebel intelligence network. Dr. Grant's team worked feverishly to decrypt the data, their faces illuminated by the glow of flickering screens. "This is not merely noise," he told the assembled strategists, "but deliberate transmission, a warning perhaps, or even a plea for peace. It is as if the very remnants of the alien empire, though shattered, are trying to communicate one final message." The implications were profound. While humanity had triumphed over overt tyranny, the possibility remained that the alien consciousness had not been entirely extinguished and might yet challenge the new order. Commander Reyes, ever pragmatic, called for an emergency meeting. "We must not let fear paralyze us," he said, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "These messages may be a last cry from a dying regime, or they could be the harbinger of a new threat. Our response must be measured. Intelligence first, and if necessary, a swift, decisive action to neutralize any danger. Let us prepare for every eventuality." The room filled with a quiet determination as military and scientific advisors set in motion plans to bolster surveillance and establish a rapid response team for any future incursions. Though uncertainty loomed large, the resolve of the people was unshakable, a testament to the fact that the ultimate triumph of humanity was forged not only in battles won, but in the courage to face an unpredictable future. As night fell over New Avalon, the city glowed with the soft light of renewal. The rebel leaders, the brave soldiers, the tireless engineers, and the hopeful scholars, each played their part in a grand tapestry of rebirth and defiance. In the quiet solitude of his office, Commander Reyes took one last look at the city below, his heart heavy with memories and bright with the promise of what was yet to come. Our struggle is eternal, he murmured quietly. But so is our capacity to rise, to rebuild, and to redefine what it means to be free. His words, barely audible over the distant hum of the city's rejuvenation, were a solemn vow to the future, a promise that the legacy of liberation would continue to light the way forward. In that moment, as the stars emerged one by one in the deep velvet sky, and the whispers of ancient enemies mingled with the hopeful songs of people reborn, humanity stood poised at the threshold of a new era. The triumph over the alien overlords had been hard-fought, and the scars of battle were indelibly etched upon the land and its people. Yet, amid the ruins and the rebuilding, the spirit of freedom burned brighter than ever. Every life reclaimed, every community united, and every dream nurtured was a step toward a future where oppression would never again hold sway. The path ahead was uncertain and fraught with challenges, both old and new, but the determination of the liberated was unyielding. As the Allied leaders prepared for the next chapter in their long struggle, watching the encrypted transmissions, fortifying their defenses, and charting new courses into the unknown, they carried with them the collective memory of a world that had once been, and the unwavering belief that the light of the human spirit could outshine even the darkest of foes. The legacy of tyranny had crumbled, replaced by the resolute hope of society that would stand as a beacon for all who yearned for freedom. In every rebuilt street, every resurgent community, and every bold declaration of independence, the triumph of humanity resonated, a triumph not defined solely by the fall of alien oppressors, but by the eternal flame of unity, justice, and hope that would guide them into the endless night of space and beyond. Outline of the end part of Chapter 5. The chapter opens with a new council and the ongoing rebuilding in New Avalon, as Commander Reyes called for unity in shaping a just future. The narrative follows the reconstruction of cities, debates on governance, and the repurposing of alien technology for defense. Simultaneously, intelligence reveals that alien loyalists and a secret remnant fleet still linger in remote regions, prompting the military to enhance its defenses. Personal moments, such as Malik's quiet reflection in a community garden and Wen's covert operations, interweave with larger strategic developments. The New Earth Academy emerges as a hub of innovation, inspiring dreams of interstellar exploration, even as internal debates over power sharing continue. Dr. Grant's team deciphers new alien transmissions from deep space, sparking a cautious emergency meeting about potential threats. The chapter concludes with Commander Reyes reflecting on the enduring struggle for freedom, the resolve to face future challenges, and the promise of united, resilient humanity. Final scenes blend the tension of impending external threats with a hopeful resurgence of a liberated society, leaving the future open-ended. In the quiet glow of a rejuvenated city and under a star-strewn sky, humanity's spirit shone with the promise of endless possibility, a beacon of defiance, unity, and hope that would carry them forward into the uncertain dawn of tomorrow.